110 targets that season. So, there's a shot that Jordy Nelson gets over 100 targets as the veteran presence in this offense, giving him a lot of fantasy value. So at the wide receiver 45, he has a shot to be a wide receiver 3 this season, especially because they need a red zone threat. That Crabtree vacated that role. Jordy Nelson can be that guy. He did it with Aaron Rodgers. So I think he's a good value in the 9th. The other guy is Kenny Stills. Like I talked about Devontae Parker. Kenny Stills is the number 1, guys. He's much higher in my rankings. I would take him, start considering him in the 7th round. Based on where these ADPs are falling, I think he's been a great receiver, but he also played well with Ryan Tannehill in 2016. He actually doubled anybody in receiving touchdowns when Tannehill played. He had 6. No one else had 3 that season until Tannehill got hurt in week 13. The other guy's Keelan Cole. And listen, this is take your shot. With Marquise Lee going down, Keelan Cole was already playing in 2 receiver sets. He's the most talented. The only thing that worries me about Keelan Cole is last year, him and D.D. Westbrook didn't even know the plays. So I told you a little bit about the wide receivers in yesterday's podcast. Like as a takeaway, these kids didn't even know where outs to run. So Blake Bortles was throwing to I don't know who and I don't know where. And I told you a little bit about my takeaways, but it's just interesting. I think Moncrief is probably the pick I would have. I'd like the fact he's a veteran, and I think he's a bigger body receiver. I think he's a better possession type receiver than a Keelan Cole would be. So I think for what they need, I think Moncrief might step in and take over kind of what Marquise Lee was supposed to do. My only fade in this group is Cameron Meredith. Guys, listen, Cameron Meredith is more of a Michael Thomas type. He's a poor man's version of Michael Thomas. Possession, big possession, slot receiver. The slot receiver in this offense is Michael Thomas. Why does everybody keep saying that? I don't understand why everyone's so excited about Cameron Meredith. They already have a better version of him. The guy they need is Ted Ginn Jr. Please, God, stop drafting Cameron Meredith. You're going to be so disappointed. Ted Ginn's the guy to own. Trust me, based on last year. I know Ted Ginn's never had a big year, but it's his 2nd season with Drew Brees. Drew Brees has already talked him up, but he's also playing in this offense. An offense is supposed to take the next step again, go back to where they were. They're not going to be as the 2 years ago in the sense of how many yards Drew Brees threw, but the air yards and everything's going to bounce back. Ted Ginn is going to flirt with 1,000 yards this season and 5 to 6 touchdowns. He's going to be a very valuable wide receiver 3, a great floor play for anybody that needs a player. He's going to have some boom weeks because he's going to catch long touchdowns too once in a while. All right, so round 10. Round 10 is Mohamed Sanu, Tyler Lockett, Danny Amendola, Michael Gallup, Deshaun Jackson, Rashard Matthews, DJ Moore. So it's hard to say fade anybody in the 10th round. In these rounds, guys, it's pretty much take your shot. But here's the guys I'm taking shots with: Danny Amendola, Michael Gallup, Deshaun Jackson, and Rashard Matthews. And here's my reason why I think they're all values. Danny Amendola, to me, early on in the camp, I was big on Danny Amendola. I thought he could be the main focus, but he's going to be the number 2 option for the foreseeable future. Mike Gesicki, guys, he plays every down, but he does not get targeted by Ryan Tannehill yet. He's got a lot of work to do in year 1. Devontae Parker hurt his hand, and he hasn't looked great. I think right now today, if I'm going to pick him, it's going to be Kenny Stills and Danny Amendola, giving him some value in PPR leagues especially. Michael Gallup's my favorite in the 10th round. I just think he has the opportunity to become the number 1 receiver in this offense, and he showed some flashes to make some big plays. I'm a little concerned about losing Travis Fredericks, but I don't think it's not going to be the complete end of the world. I think Michael Gallup has a chance to be the best rookie receiver of his class this season. So Deshaun Jackson is another one, guys, for me is a value. The reason why I say Deshaun Jackson's value is simple, but his air yards were still there. He almost had 1,500 air yards last year, and air yards to fantasy is a pretty, it's a good correlation. He only converted less than 50%. His career average is 70. So if you take a 70% conversion rate from air yards to yards gained in his career, he would have been right around 1,000. He would have been over 1,000 yards last year. Guys, he's going to be a big bounce back candidate. You can already see the connection in the deep passing game. And I also feel like Jameis Winston's going to blow up this year. He's got the talent. He's got the pedigree. He got the suspension. He got embarrassed. He's going to want to come out and erase all that negativity. He's one of my favorite waiver wire pickups in week 2. The first 3 weeks are going to be a gauntlet. Ryan Fitzpatrick's not winning this job. And once Jameis Winston comes back, he's going to ball out. Trust me, he's going to be great. I think he's going to be a steal, especially because you can get him for free because he's not playing the first 3 weeks. The last one's Rashard Matthews. I talk a little bit about Corey Davis and my Titans podcast. The light hasn't gone on yet for me. I'm not impressed with Corey Davis yet. Based on the preseason action, Tajay Sharp has just looked, he's gotten more catches and he's looked better than Corey Davis. And Mariota hasn't been able to connect with him yet. So Rashard Matthews has an opportunity to become, Matt LaFleur's number one option in the receiving game. I think Delanie Walker is a safe play. He's going to keep getting over 100 targets, but really, to be honest with you, it's up for grabs, guys. Matt LaFleur runs the Kyle Shanahan offense. This isn't going to be Sean McVay offense. It's going to be Kyle Shanahan's offense, and you're not going to be disappointed with having the number one because we've seen huge target potentials. And Rashard Matthews is worth the flyer for me in the later rounds because if he becomes the number one receiver, he has huge target potential as well. After that, guys, pretty much there's only a couple players I want to touch on that, they're getting some hype here and there that, in the later rounds, like James Washington, John Ross, in the 11th round, Chris Godwin. If you feel confident about these guys, I have no problem with you taking flyers on them in the later rounds because we're talking about the 11th round here. But the other guy I want to talk about right now is John Brown. So John Brown is the value for me because of what I talked about with the air yards with the Baltimore Ravens. Michael Crabtree is going to get the targets too, but someone else needs to step up. Hayden Hurst is gone now. Nick Boyle is not going to take the dominant. He's not going to be a dominant pass catching tight end that Hayden Hurst was going to be. And I think John Brown has an opportunity to become one of the best sleepers in fantasy football. So I would definitely take him as a flyer in the 12th round, guys. Anthony Miller is my other value too here. I like Anthony Miller as well as a value because I think he has an opportunity to become a 1B to Allen Robinson's 1A. Other guys that are notable, Cortland Sutton, Mike Williams, Dante Moncrief, I love those guys. I think Cortland Sutton, to me, the thing about Cortland Sutton is that there's just two dominant receivers ahead of him, but I think he's going to get some pieces of his pie, but I don't think he's fantasy relevant. Mike Williams, to me, is the definition of just a lottery ticket. I haven't seen a thing from him. And when Tyrell Williams was healthy, he was getting the snaps, not Mike Williams. But Mike Williams is a lottery ticket. In the 12th round, guys, these are the kind of guys you want. The league-winning upside guys. Dante Moncrief, we touched on him. I love taking a flyer on him now. I think he might slip into that Marquise Lee role. So the last guys I want to talk about here are Quincy Enunwa, Ryan Grant, and Ted Ginn. These guys are going way late, and Quincy Enunwa, for me, I think he could win the number one role in this offense. It might not be Robbie Anderson. It could be Quincy Enunwa. He already connected twice with Sam Darnold early in the preseason. He had 2 catches, 27 yards. He looks pretty good, dominating that middle of the field. So I've seen that as a tendency. He's worth a flyer for me. Ryan Grant as the number 2 receiver. It's up for grabs, guys. The number 3 option in this passing game is going to have, Andrew Luck has produced so much. Listen to my Colts podcast. I go into a lot more detail. But, that wide receiver 3 role, meaning the third receiving option, is up for grabs. It could be anybody. So Ryan Grant might have the opportunity. It might be Chester Rogers. But if I was going to take a flyer on somebody, it would be Ryan Grant. And the last guy is Ted Ginn. Guys, I'm telling you, Ted Ginn, to me, guys, is a safe play this year. He's going to get you some solid weeks. He's not exciting, but I think this is I'm calling my shot. He's going to have a career year with Drew Brees this year. He's never been over 800 yards. I think he gets over 800 yards this season. He has the opportunity to catch you like 6 touchdowns. I'm telling you, I think he's going to flirt with, just under 1,000 yards this season, 6-7 touchdowns. He's going to be a wide receiver 3 by year's end. I'm calling it. I just see it in the analysis I've done. I see Ted Ginn as a great wide receiver 3 option. So before we go, I want to talk a little bit about the tight ends. And, we're already a half hour into the wide receivers. So, the tight ends are pretty simple for me. Listen to my tight end preview, guys. I already went through this in detail. But, it's simple. So Rob Gronkowski, for me, is the only player you can take in the first 3 rounds. And the reason why I did the analysis on this is very simple, is because based on what I've seen, you can get the tight end 6 in the 6th round. That means you can fill up the rest of your team. So you can get 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex in the first 5 rounds. So if you're taking Gronkowski in the 2nd round, I'll tell you right now, you're already sapping all your upside. The reason why is Gronkowski hasn't been a 17 touchdown reception guy since, 2010. It's been a long time. But Gronkowski, based on his production, he's looking at a very good season, 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns if he can get healthy. But in fantasy production, that's going to make him flirt with about just under 15 fantasy points per game. And based on what you get the advantage out of that, that's his ceiling. I'm sorry, but if anybody thinks Rob Gronkowski is going to go back to when he was 24 years old and be a dominant force, like catching 17 touchdowns, it's not going to happen, guys. I'm sorry. He is going to be 30 years old, and you know what? He's not as the same exact player he was at 24. But more important than that, you're sapping all the upside if you draft him in the 2nd round. The reason why, like I said, you get 15 points. So the tight end 6, typically get you in that 11 to 12 range, which means you're getting about a 4.5 advantage at best. So what you're losing by taking Gronkowski over like the wide receiver 6, 7, 8, 9, you're losing all your advantage because then you're going to have to take a wide receiver or a running back in the 6th round to fill your starting role. And you're looking at guys that are like wide receiver 30, running back 30. And the number of points you just saved, you lost. So if you can't get Gronkowski in the 3rd round, don't bother. Travis Kelce and Zach Ertz in the 4th for me. After that, don't draft a tight end until the 8th round. So this is my next tier. Greg Olsen, Delaney Walker, Evan Ingram, Jimmy Graham, Trey Burton, Jordan Reed, Kyle Rudolph. In like not in that specific order, but that's my group. I love Trey Burton. I said you could try to flirt with Trey Burton in the 6th, 7th, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, just wait till the 8th round. Someone's going to fall to you there. You're going to get a great value in the 8th round for one of those tight ends. I got Delaney Walker in a draft. It was great value. And if you wait to the 8th and none of those guys are there, go after my tier 4 guys, Jack Doyle and George Kittle. Jack Doyle to me is my favorite player to pick. Right now he is going at the 118th pick. So if you need to take him a round early, like in round 9, I would take him in round 9 because I want Jack Doyle. If you miss out on those guys in the 8th, you can wait another round, take Jack Doyle in the 9th, George Kittle in the 10th. Then after that, guys, you're pretty much up for grabs. Only guys I really want to talk about is David Njoku, Ben Watson, and Ryan Griffin. So the reason why I want to bring these guys up is because, David Njoku might become the 3rd option in this offense. He's not a top 12 tight end for me. It's Jack Doyle and George Kittle. Those are the guys I kind of want to walk away with as a starting tight end. And, if you don't get a starter, if you don't get one of those 12 guys in the draft, it's going to be tough. You might have to stream position. But one of the guys I want to bring up is Ryan Griffin. Ryan Griffin, to me, might be a sleeper tight end. I'm actually looking forward. I mean, Will Fuller's dealing with another injury. And, behind DeAndre Hopkins, Bruce Ellington's a sleeper for me as well. But Ryan Griffin becomes, pretty interesting because he's going to monopolize the tight end targets this year for the first time in a long time in Texas and in Houston. The last guy I want to talk about is Ben Watson. So Ben Watson to me has an opportunity to kind of flirt with, top 15 potential. If you need a tight end to stream each week, he has an opportunity in good matchups because he's playing with Drew Brees. So, he's done it before, and I just think that he might be able to give you some usable weeks if you're in desperate need. But my thing is go after one of those tight ends. Draft, wait until the 8th round. Someone always does fall. And then if you can't get one of those guys, you can take Jack Doyle in the next round or George Kittle to me. So that's my wrap-up, guys, on ESPN.com, fades and values. You can follow me at FFXFactor on Instagram and Twitter, but also follow me on SoundCloud, guys. Give me some more follows on SoundCloud. I appreciate you guys listening. If you have any questions, you can DM me. If you're interested in potentially getting my tiers, DM me. We can set something up, guys. Thanks for your time.
X gon' give it to you. Wait for you to get it on your own. X gon' deliver to you. Knock, knock, open up the door, it's real. With the non-stop pop out from stainless steel. Go hard, getting busy with